Okay, we're live. Hi, Loubna.
Hi.
Nice to have you on board.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. And let me know if I can see any comments coming in. So topic of discussion today is happiness. Tell me about yourself first so that our viewers know who we have on board and why I've chosen to have you on board for this specific topic.
Yeah. Well, as you saw in the post with my introduction, is I'm an entrepreneur, and I have been an entrepreneur. This year is going to be my 10th anniversary. So in about 6 weeks' time, at the end of the month May, it will be exactly 10 years ago that I walked into a chamber of commerce and registered myself as an entrepreneur.
Wow.
And yes, 8 out of those 10, it was my hobby because I had a full-time job. And it wasn't until January the 1st, 2018 that I jumped full head on, left financial security and became a full-time entrepreneur. So my background is in IT. So I was first an IT consultant, so I consulted my clients, and more specifically in an academic hospital setting. So I supported the hospital in transitioning from paper files and patient records to digital, which we can't imagine now because almost everything is digital. But then, and I'm talking about almost 20 years ago, it was innovative, to say the least.
Right.
Because most of the doctors in that time were used to having a voice recorder, give it to the secretary, and they type it out, print it, and put it in an actual paper folder. And I was one of the very first people to support them in going digital. Learned a lot about human behavior in that period of time. Learned a lot about resistance to innovation, and that's what I took with me for the remainder of my career. Now, from consulting, I went to auditing. IT auditing. So instead of advising my clients, I came afterwards to see if they've done a good job of their IT. And that's the job I did the longest, about 11 years. And it was with the Dutch government. I've seen every ministry from the inside out. I know a lot about their infrastructure. And I have learned a very great deal around what if people don't like you to come by because you don't want an auditor? Because an audit will tell you what all the things you've done wrong. And even more so, they are the ones that can bring out a report. You can't avoid that. You have to do something with it. You have to respond to it because we certify the quality of IT. So you have to listen to something. So I've learned a lot about how can you get in when people are literally thinking, just only answer their questions, say yes or no, don't volunteer anything. How can you build rapport and still get the information to help them? Because they don't see you as their help. They see you as the one that comes afterwards telling you what you've done wrong. And then leave you with, and now what I do, because thank you, you just put the spotlight on what I've done wrong, but how can I change it? Because I don't know. And that's what the longest. What I've done, and then I did 2-year change management. And the one red thread is that when I first started my very first real job, I've been having jobs since I was 14, but my very first real job, I made it's what I call it. I said, if I don't have fun in my work, I leave, no matter the circumstances. No matter if I have another job to go to, if I'm not having fun, I promise myself I will not stay. Now, in that period of 20 years, I left 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah. Because when you, at least for me, a sacred agreement means I am responsible. Yes. I need to create having fun. It's not my colleagues. It's not my boss. It's not my clients. It's not suppliers. It's not anyone else. Me.
Right.
So what I did was not look at other people doing that for me. I did it for myself. How can I have fun despite the circumstances, despite people around me who are not having fun or are grumpy or a boss that doesn't like you, or I've had them all.
Right.
I want to have fun. I want to have fun. How do I create it? So I've experienced and created and learned strategies as I go. And the one thing that started happening is people notice that, because they're thinking, why? I mean, you're a civil servant, you work in ministries, which is bureaucratic, and how can you be having fun? And a lot of people started to say, you only do what you enjoy doing. And bearing in mind, because it's normal for me, I said, yes, of course, because it's my normal.
Yep.
Not realizing that for the majority of the people, it is absolutely not normal. And it took me a while to realize that it wasn't normal, because I didn't hear the very first group of people that said to me, you only do what you enjoy doing. I didn't hear the variation in their voice from, I actually admire you, but how do you do that? Because I'm not having fun here at all. And after about, I think, number 30, 31, I'm like, what am I hearing? If I'm actually listening, what am I hearing? I hear admiration combined with, how does she do it?
So how does she do it?
How does she do it? How did she get in this environment of a very bureaucratic, very hierarchical organization? She still only does what she enjoy doing. So at the end of 2014, I was looking at 10 years as an IT auditor, and I said, okay, I still love this job. I still have fun. There is nothing that is preventing me from having fun. And but what do I want to spend the next 10 years? If I jump into time 10 years from now and I want to look back at the 10 years, what will I want to have done, which will give me an answer to the question when I'm on my deathbed and thinking, what if? And the very first thing that popped up in my head was, I want to be available for people that want to learn how to enjoy what you're doing despite the circumstances. And that's what brought me to my full-time entrepreneurial journey.
Lovely. Tell me, where and how does the learning on happiness come in? Because I was quite excited when you told me you've learned happiness. Now, how does one get to that point? And before that, I have Kosaji who says, I am the source of my own happiness, because I think, yes, there. And Cindy who says, how do you create your own happiness when you feel like your world has been turned upside down? Like now with the virus, I find myself feeling anxious, sad, bored, annoyed, and a little scared. I'm having trouble feeling happy at all right now. Any suggestions? So we'll park those questions and
I have suggestions. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So she's got suggestions. But before we jump into the questions, we'll go a little more into how you learned happiness. How does that even happen? Do you even have a school that teaches happiness?
Oh yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, we do. And now bear in mind that when I started, now fun has been in my life because it's one of my core values. So that's what I do if I'm not having fun. And in 2016, I was a change manager at the Ministry of Social Affairs and Employment here in the Netherlands. Mm-hmm. And I was responsible for a ministry-wide change program where they had to adopt new ways of working, which is a challenge, to say the least. We are trying to influence 2,400 people to reevaluate what they're doing and change it to be better at what they do and more effective. Now, in that period, and I was working for HR, the HR department, and we had a team building day, and I still remember the day, June 7th, 2016. Wow. We had a team building day. Yes. So all of myself and my colleagues were at team building, and the facilitators asked the question, where are you and what are you doing in January 2017? Yeah. Now, what you need to know now is that I had a 1-year contract with that ministry. So that was ending on the 31st of December of 2016. And it was June, so I was there for about 6 months at that time. So I didn't know if they want to keep me, so renew the contract, or that I wanted to stay there. I didn't know that by that time. So I answered the question, if I could make a decision, thinking of there are no limitation whatsoever, how would I answer that question? So I let a couple of, which is out of character for me, I let a couple of other colleagues answer that question, because I don't want to set the standard. Before you know it, you answer the question and the rest is thinking, oh, but mine is very boring. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to let a couple of other colleagues answer that question. And not surprisingly at all, is that most of them said, well, I'm going to be at work doing ABC, or I'm going to be still on holiday because it's the end of the year and I usually take my holidays in January. But most of them were, I'm going to be at work. I'm going to be working. And I thought, okay, now it's time for me to bring in my answer. So I said, and I had no idea whatsoever. I had an idea of what I wanted to say, but some of the words that came out of my mouth were not what I was thinking, what I thought of. So before you know it, I was saying, well, I'll be on an island where it's at least 30 degrees Celsius, so it's warm. The sun is shining. I'll be lying in a hammock with a tablet talking to you. So I will be at work, not on holiday. Now, I've never been on holiday to an island.
Okay.
I love the sun. I love going to warm places. So I'm a Moroccan, so I love Morocco because it's warm and I thrive in sunny, warm places. I've never been to an island. Where the hammock came from, I don't know. I had no idea. In the Netherlands, they hardly have hammocks. I think I'm working. So as soon as I said it, my colleagues went, you'll be on holiday. I said, no, I'll be at work. I'll be working. So the reason I'm on the island is for work. I had no idea, absolutely no idea where the words came out, but that's what came out of my mouth. Now, something very remarkable happened. I had inspired a couple of people, but I was thinking, oh, that would be awesome. The next assignment the facilitators gave us is, now choose one answer from one colleague and prepare something that you're going to perform for the rest of your colleagues. Now, a couple of people said, Loubna, we want to be in your team because we want to perform your story. I'm like, okay, something is triggered there, because despite the fact you all said I'm going to be working, you like my story more. So we did. We performed. So the hammock were 2 chairs. I was put on those 2 chairs, which is very uncomfortable, I can say. The facilitator had a tablet. So I was lying in those 2 chairs with a tablet, having a conference call with my colleagues, pretending to be in Ireland. And of all the days on 7th of June, it was very sunny in the Netherlands. It was very hot, very warm. So it couldn't have been the best circumstances at all. Fast forward to August, the end of August. My colleague and co-teacher, because by that time I had been teaching IT auditing to non-ITers for 8 years. I did the once a year, 3-day training. We were the best teachers of the whole academy at that time. We scored well on content and delivery, but they loved us. And we could do what we could do is in 3 days get someone from, I don't like IT, I don't want to, I want to avoid it, to, oh my God, this is really interesting and I get what IT is. That's the transformation we had proven over and over we could get people towards. So in August, my colleague said, are you sitting down? Called me and said, are you sitting down? I said, yes, I am. Why? He said, well, I just got a call from the academy and they're asking if you want to go abroad and deliver that 3-day training. Now, whilst I'm on the phone, I'm thinking, oh my God, they're going to say Poland or Bulgaria, because at that time, we as the Netherlands are supporting other countries that want to enter the EU. So they sent some of us to deliver training there. I'm like, I don't want to go to Poland. I'm a sunny girl. Why do I have to go to that? And he said, are you sitting down for the second time? I think, okay, there's something else happening here. He said, Aruba called.
Ooh, okay.
And as
now
soon
you're
as
listening.
he said Aruba, I'm like, no. And I'm saying no to him. And in my mind goes, that's an island. It's warm. And they have hammocks. what's going on? That's the fastest I've manifested anything. And as you know, or maybe you've experienced it, when two countries are negotiating, it takes months. Mm-hmm. So we didn't have the certainty whether we were to go or not until months later. And I wasn't on that island in January 2017. I spent 7 days in December 2016.
Ah, okay. So you preponed it.
Yeah, so it wasn't January, it was December. And one of the things that I encountered whilst walking on, the very first thing I did was find a hammock and take a photo of me in a hammock with a tablet that for a very long time I had on my Facebook profile. I can still put it up now, just as a proof of
this is how you made it happen.
Questions from your heart, what you really want. Don't think about what you do or do not have now. What's your heart telling you? That's one. But there was another thing. On the island of Aruba, I was confronted with the word happy and happiness constantly. Because you want to know what the other name of Aruba is. It's the island of happiness.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
So by that time, I was in a state of, okay, universe, you're telling me I need to do something with happiness. You're telling me I need to go do something with happiness. I'm listening. I'm going to listen. So when I came back, I thought, but where do you study happiness? Is there even a study or a course on happiness? I Googled and found that my university, the university in Rotterdam, offers an executive program on happiness.
Executive program on happiness. This I got to know about.
Yes, they do. They have a whole research unit around happiness. So I went to my manager and I said, I want to do this course because it was 7,000 euros. So it's actually a very large investment. So I want to do this course. And you said to me last year that if I wanted to go to do anything, I could. And I said to you, well, let me roll around in this job before I make a decision. I've made mine. I want to study happiness. And he said, okay, it's good. So they invested in me and I spent 4 months studying the science of happiness.
Wow.
So that's how happiness, I was being nudged constantly. You need to be doing something with happiness. You need to be doing it. And I did. I listened.
So tell me, Loubna, what is happiness to you? Do you want to get a sip of water?
Oh, no, I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay. So what is happiness to you?
Well, happiness is a feeling. It's an emotion for me. So you could be doing something that makes you happy. You could be having something that makes you happy. For me, it's experiences. I love experiences. I don't like stuff anymore. So one of the things that I've asked my friend, I don't celebrate my birthday. I've got my birthday coming up in a couple of days. I don't celebrate my birthday, not because I do not like getting older. I don't feel old at all. I don't have any problem with sharing my age at all. I feel very comfortable in my own skin, but it's just not a holiday for me. I just don't even like parties where I'm the middle. So I don't. But I've got a couple of friends who said, but we really want to buy you a birthday present. And I said, that's fine. But make it an experience. Make it an experience. Okay. 2 years ago, my friend said, do you have anything to do on your birthday? And I said, no. She said, well, I'm taking you out to dinner for sushi. Now, as some of you might know this or not, but I'm a lover of sushi. I love sushi. I even call myself a sushi addict. So that was great because that's an experience to me. I will forever remember her taking me out to dinner for sushi in a great restaurant, having wonderful conversations.
As I will always remember the lovely ice cream that we had as we walked around town. It was yum.
Yes. So, but even that is another example of an experience. You came to visit the Netherlands. Yes. And we got together, and I said, if you could visit my city, I can show you where I live. Because by that time we had never met in real life. We only knew each other virtually.
Yes.
And you said, well, we would love some ice cream. I said, there's only one place that I would send you here in The Hague to have ice cream. the business that's been the longest around. And that's what we did. We'll have that story forever
ever, ever, and ever.
To share because
Yes.
it's one experience.
Yes, absolutely. So we have some comments coming in. Junit says, happiness is an energy which makes you feel moving to the right direction. We have Rahel who says, that's very kind thoughts being shared, loving the session. Kosaji says, the real point is that being happy is our innate nature, which we unlearn and then struggle to relearn it. Some thoughts on that?
Well, if you've ever read the book Solve for Happy by Mo Godot, it's exactly what he says. It's our default state. And he's an engineer, and he worked for a couple of IT-related organizations, just like me. So he thinks in engineer language, in zeros and ones. And he said the default state is happiness. And he compares our brain to a computer. And we have operating systems in our brain. And when you get an operating system out of the box, its default state is happiness. But because of conditioning and societal norms and cultural norms and everything, we unlearn what that feels like. So just like the world is resetting now because of the virus, for us to relearn what that feels like when you have that. And that doesn't mean, because one of the things I get asked the most is, are you happy 100% of the time? No. I'm a human being just like you. That means that I experience a range of emotions from negative to positive. The difference is I don't stay long in the negative side. I bounce back quickly. And what most people experience is that they stay in the negative side. So, for example, right now, if you're just focusing on the virus, on COVID-19, on the likelihood of you getting sick, then you're actually making yourself sick right now. Because you are generating cortisol, which is the stress hormone. And when that enters in our body and stays in our body way too long, it actually negatively impacts the immune system. So the likelihood of you getting something, even if it's a normal cold, is very high.
And the likelihood of you panicking because you have a common cold is even higher, because then you're wondering, oh, what have I caught?
Yeah. So to get back to the question that was asked earlier, so it's feeling anxious, sad, bored, annoyed, or scared, that's absolutely fine. That's so normal. I've had that moment. Of, oh my God, now we all have to we're in intelligent lockdown. We have to stay at home. We have to keep 1.5 meters in between people. I can't hug my nieces. That to me is ridiculous. That's not where I want to be in. That's not the state I want to be in. That's not the environment I want to be in. On the same flip side is, I know, because I've trained my brain into, if I stay in these negative emotions, chances are I will get sick quicker, no matter what.
Right.
So for me, I flip that into, what can I do? What is my circle of influence? What can I do now? Because I can choose how to respond to this. I can make a conscious decision how to deal with circumstances. Right. Because that's literally what I did when I made the decision. I'm only going to enjoy what I what I enjoy doing at work. I made a conscious choice to experience that. And it wasn't easy all of the time. It really wasn't. And I had to be very creative at some times. But I still did. Instead of letting it happen to me, I made conscious decisions and took actions towards what I wanted to feel. So if you're feeling sad and anxious, please respect that, because that's your body warning you. The question is, how can you flip that into, what can I influence right now? What can you do? What can you do? What is still working? We FaceTime 3 times a day with my nieces. 3 times a day. And they're loving it. They're absolutely loving it, because to them, it feels like we're still connected.
Yes.
We're still connected. It might not be physical, but it is connection. So it's finding other ways to do the exact same thing that you need. It just requires some creativity. But still, respect the emotion that is in your body, because if you don't, you're going to bury it and it just comes out louder.
Cindy says, I've been walking every day and that has helped a lot. So that's
Very,
her. That's her
very
question.
good.
So yes, she's
Very good.
reciprocating.
Very
Yes.
good. Another one, Cindy. I don't know if you're watching the news, but stop. Stop.
Yes.
Don't watch the news. It has a profound impact on your subconscious brain, and it stays with you for at least 7 to 8 hours. So it's impacting you even if you don't know it. So stop watching the news, because if you keep watching the news, you're constantly impacting yourself in a negative way. Choose to watch inspiring TED Talks. Choose to read a book that's inspiring. Okay, make that conscious decision. And if you really feel that you need to dip into news, I do that too. Believe me, I've stopped watching the news years ago. Right now with this virus, I feel that I need to know something. I need to know some things. The one thing that I don't do is in the morning, it's not the very first thing I watch.
Right.
I don't go through news website, and I only do one, and I scan for highlights. That's all I do.
Right.
And then it's off the website and back to doing what I want to be doing that day. So that's my suggestion. Those are a couple of suggestions for you, Cindy. Thank you for asking.
I had a suggestion I had made recently was to have a worry window, in the day, that where you know that this is the time that I'm going to peek in and watch the news, get some updates, and have some awareness. Yes. And the rest of the day. And this wouldn't be like right at the start of the day or right when we're going to sleep, but maybe towards the later half, the second third of the day, towards the evening, maybe just have a look and then carry on with something else that inspires and motivates you to push forward.
Yeah. And I would add to that, just like having a worry window, have a positive window too.
Okay. All right.
So Cindy, for example, and I'm picking you as an example.
But wait up, we've got lots of people on board. We've got Asif, we've got Ashwini, we've got Rashid, and everybody's saying they love the energy, they love the vibes. So if I have a question, yes, there's a question by Rashid, which I'll ask you again. So I think everybody has the same questions about concerns regarding what you're sharing. So go for it.
So for example, you've been walking every day. So when you're walking, as you are walking, try to notice the beauty of nature. So again, don't just walk outside. You could do that unintentionally, but make it intentionally and look for the beauty of nature. Every day you will notice something different, but it will condition your brain into noticing the good in the world right now, the beauty in the world right now, to balance out those negative experiences and emotions.
Awesome. So we have a question here from Rashid who says, can being happy become a habit by training our brain and controlling our emotions to the situation?
But definitely, it's a habit for me. I bounce back very quickly. I wouldn't say control your emotions.
Okay.
Because control is like, to me, it has a connotation of I want control over. Emotions happen. It's a natural process for us as human beings. You will be hit by fear or hit by anxiety or hit by joy. Just be present in the moment when it does, no matter if it's positive or negative, and just literally say, thank you. Thank you, my body, for warning me. I've got the message, and now I'm choosing to do something else. Flip it.
Flip it.
Okay?
Super.
So controlling means I'm trying to control something. I'm trying to don't control your emotion. You can't control your emotions. So language is very important. So I'm someone who really directly challenges everything someone says, especially if it's not helpful. So I wouldn't use the word controlling. I would use embracing our emotions.
Nice. Yes. Why not? Joy. You said you would get hit by joy. Tell me the difference between joy and happiness. This is a question I've always wanted to ask somebody. So how are the two different, if at all?
Yeah. Well, my good friend Wendy has a great way of explaining it. Happiness is an emotion, and emotions are fleeting. So I can be happy in one moment, but then it could be gone. So the best example I can use, for example, is I like bags. I like bags. And every now and then I need to buy a new bag. It's one of those things. Don't ask me why. It's stuff but it's one of the things that I enjoy doing.
Right.
When I buy a new bag that I've been looking at for months and months, and and when I do, I buy that bag, I'm happy to have it, but that's gone in about 2 weeks' time, because then I'm used to the bag. And my attention goes towards a new bag. And that process starts over and over again. Joy is sustainable. You can feel joy in anything, anyway, no matter what you do or what you have or what you buy or in any way, shape or form. So the best way is it's a fleeting emotion. Happiness and joy is more sustainable.
Thank you for that. So I have Junith who says, happiness is a triggering factor for higher emotions, with a question mark. So I'm assuming that's a question that he's asking about, is it so that happiness is a trigger factor for higher emotions?
I don't know about that. I do know, if some of you might know or might not know, is that each emotion has a frequency. So if you follow quantum physics, which is a science, a very distinct science, is that everything is energy, and that means that every emotion has a frequency. And the more negative your emotion, the lower your frequency.
Right.
And the more positive has a higher frequency. Now, you won't find happiness in that range of emotions. You will find joy in that range. And the highest frequencies are gratitude and love.
Ooh,
They're even higher than joy.
Goosebumps moment.
Yeah, it's higher. It's way higher than joy. But it's also very difficult to be in that state consistently. We're humans, we experience everything. But one of the reasons that Dr. Hawkins shared that is that you can train to bounce back and to stay longer as your default state. So I don't believe that happiness is a trigger for something else because it's so fleeting.
It's still fleeting, yes.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. And Asif says, not left house since 2 weeks, exhausting work schedule, no time. Okay, no time for, I don't know, that's like an incomplete comment, but I think he's just enjoying the session. Rashid says, thanks for the practical solution to the query. His was the query about happiness being a habit. Elsie says, I walk after I finish my workday and listen to Melissa Etheridge. Yeah, doing her live concerts from home. It keeps me sane. All right.
Now, it really is about, and thank you for sharing that, Elsie, but also Cindy. It's finding make a list. One practical suggestion: grab a piece of paper and a pen right now. Make a list of things that bring you happiness. Because the most important thing now is that we need to raise the frequency of happy moments. And to raise that frequency is that we need to fill our days with things that make us happy. So make a list, and whether it's music, nature, calling someone, or quotes, memes on social media, watching a TED Talk, reading a book, whatever it is for you, listening to a podcast, whatever it is for you, make a list. And each day choose a couple of things from that list that you're going to do, that you're going to schedule me time in, that's specifically for you. So that way, either when you're working, you're balancing it out. After about a 1 hour, 2 hour work period, you choose to do something from that happiness list. Now, one of the things that I advise Michael is to make that list, because if you don't know what makes you happy, you can't make a conscious decision to do more of that.
True that.
So if you grab a piece of paper and a pen, make your list, put it somewhere where you can look at it each and every day, no matter what you're doing, and make a conscious decision to choose a couple of things to do on a daily basis, no matter what's happening in the world, because you know that will make you happy.
All right. And you could even leave them in as comments over here. So who knows, what makes you happy might make someone else happy too. Cindy says,
that's a great suggestion. I would absolutely challenge each and every one of you that's watching this now live or on the replay, put your happiness list in the comments so we can be inspired by each other.
Exactly. Cindy says, I live in a beautiful place. I love nature. And yes, that helps too. I think I just need to give myself permission to feel these negative emotions, but I can choose to put them away as well. Thanks for the great thoughts and suggestions. She also says, I listen to my music when I walk.
Very good.
Elsie says, my family, my friends, exercise, Kundalini yoga, and music. Those thoughts make me happy. Junit says, thank you for the answers. I like the question just to feel the difference between feeling happy on the journey towards the dream or achieving the dream.
Okay, that's a good one. I'm happy you added that, because for me, it's more important to enjoy the journey than necessarily achieving the dream. Because like I said in my story, if my dream was to be on an island where it's warm, a hammock and a tablet. Now that's how I envisioned it at that time. And it would be January 2017. Now it ended up not being January, but it being December.
Yeah.
Instead. So you don't know exactly how it's going to look. So if you're just only focusing on your end destination and achieving that dream, you're not going to enjoy the journey. And what if you don't achieve exactly what you're dreaming about, but you achieve it in a different form?
True. Rashid says, can you shed some light on your recent learning on building resilience?
Rashid, you've been Googling on my LinkedIn profile. I'm sure of it. Because that's
Rashid.
the only way you could know.
So that's the benefit of letting them know who's coming on board. So super lovely.
Googling on my LinkedIn profile. Yes, I can. One of the things that because I see a lot of people struggling at the moment, and staying in that frustration, struggle, anxiety mode. And I'm all about, if I can help, I'm not going to do that. And one of the things that my brain has been telling me to do is to develop an online course or program around resilience, because we can train resilience. You can, and the best way to do it is in a challenging time. So not when when there's nothing wrong, because it's neutral or very positive. The best circumstances to train resilience are now. It will have the biggest impact, because if you can bounce back now in these times, you can bounce back in almost anything.
Yeah. If you can keep yourself sane during these days, you've nailed it.
You're training your brain that, okay, no matter what happens, unless it's something that and I can't conceive it right now, bigger or more profound than this, and I can't conceive it again. I think that this is very big on a
big enough. Scale. Let's not put your head to it.
No, I'm not manifesting that one.
No.
Is that this is the right time. And if I can be that guide for people to train their resilience right now, no matter what their resilience level is at the moment, because each and every one of us already has some resilience in them, that's my gift to the world in these times. So I've been doing research, and that's what you saw, Rashid, on my LinkedIn profile. I've been going through some courses and articles around resilience. I've been looking into what else I can learn around resilience, because I already know a lot of things, but I want to be as grounded and foundational as I can be, so I can put that all in that online program and offer the best of the best for people right now, so I can have the greatest impact that I can have right now.
Super. All the best to you on that.
Thank you.
Cindy says, seeing my grandkids, music, walking, playing with my doggy, meditating, seeing my friends, talking with my husband. This is what makes her happy. And
thank you for sharing, Cindy.
And she also says, excellent answer to resilience.
Thank you.
And I hear you have just started cooking up a podcast.
Oh, yes.
Tell me about that. And it's something to do with sushi?
It cannot not have something to do with sushi.
Obviously, because who loves sushi more than you?
If you haven't figured it out by now, I sometimes have crazy thoughts. Really crazy thoughts. I combine things that people are thinking, how did you combine those two things? And one of the things that I found in communities of entrepreneurs is they only talk entrepreneurship. They talk about marketing, they talk about business strategies, they talk about brand or branding. And I'm like, is that all you can think about? I mean, we're all human. And I like entrepreneurship and I like sushi. What if we combine those two?
Yes.
But I thought, this is really great. I mean, I know people know that I love sushi. I mean, I'm very vocal about that. I share it consistently. And I'm about to share on my Facebook page and personal timeline that I had sushi tonight for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Because today is sushi day for me.
Ah, lovely.
But I didn't do anything with it until a good friend of mine, Gail Edwards, who is a personal brand disruptor. She's really good at helping people create that personal brand, was here in the Netherlands last year. I said, you have to come to the Netherlands. I would love to introduce you to some of my networking friends. And she did. She trusted me blindly, got on an airplane from London and came to the Netherlands. And I didn't know, but she said, okay. And I asked her, I said, what do you want to have for dinner? She said, I don't know. What do you want to have? I said, there's only one answer to that question. I said, sushi. Then she said, oh my God, I love sushi. And I'm like, okay, I just found another one. Who's crazy about sushi as I am. And whilst we're waiting for the sushi to be delivered, I said, you know what? I've had a crazy thought for a couple of months in my head, and that is to create the Entrepreneurs Sushi Club. Entrepreneurs who enjoy business and fun, but adore sushi. So a community where you can freely talk about sushi as much as you want, but also a community where we as entrepreneurs can support each other. And she said, well, why haven't you created that community yet? I said, I don't know.
Waiting for her.
Grab your laptop right now. You're going to create that Facebook group right now, and we're going to start. We even took a photo to put as a banner in that group with the two of us with the sushi when it arrived. Just like you could have a better photo.
A bite of inspiration, if I may say.
I know. I mean, I'm happily crazy about sushi. Believe me. Fast forward a couple of months later, we were both in Manchester speaking at the same event.
Huh.
And I was speaking about fun, flow of freedom, and she was speaking about personal branding. Another one of the speakers is a podcast expert. And while he introduced himself, before he entered the stage, he said, yeah, I'm a podcast expert. And he hit me right then and there. What if we start the Entrepreneurs Sushi Club Podcast? Now, Gail was in, and I already knew that because she's a sushi addict just like me. What I hadn't expected is that Woon, the podcast expert, actually said, oh, that's a brilliant idea. I'm in. I'm like, what? It was just an idea. And he literally said, I'm in. Well, when do we start? Really? You're in? You really think that's a good idea? I mean, I have my crazy thoughts. And he said, yes, I'm in. I think that's brilliant. I love sushi too. Like, okay. So when he stood on stage and guided us through an exercise of coming up with our podcast idea and said, who wants to share that idea? And Gail will tell you, I launched myself to the front of the room. Launched, not walked, not run. I launched myself to the front of the room, waved at Woon, as in, give me the mic now. He did, fortunately. And I said, we are launching the Entrepreneurs Sushi Club Podcast in front of about 100 people. Are we still live? I think I'm live, but Ruqya just disappeared on us. So that's what happened. I went to the room. I shared it with about 100 people. And a couple of weeks ago, we launched the Entrepreneurs Sushi Club Podcast. So it is on Spotify and Apple. And we already got 5 episodes live. We're launching episode number 6 tomorrow. And it is another great guest. So if you're interested, go find us on Facebook or on Spotify or on Apple. But let me know if I'm still live. So I know I'm not talking to a screen without anyone following me. And we'll just wait for Ruqya to come back. So let me know in the comments if I'm still live. So we can give Ruqya the opportunity. There's a frequency of happiness. Oh, thank God. Thank you for letting me know, because then I will keep chatting. There is a frequency of happiness. As possible, I feel more happy when I watch my students perform in the court than me winning a title. What makes me more happy is when my daughter wakes up in the morning with her eyes half open, looks at me, and was that a good morning? I love you. Spreading arms to hug me is a different level, so happy frequency varies. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're live. We hear you. Oh, thank you for letting me know that I'm still live.
I am sorry. I am so sorry. Something happened and I lost connection. Imagine
having had that. Yeah.
Having had the host disappear and become a ghost. Host becomes a ghost. So nice of you. Super. So I missed about the podcast, but I believe you've shared.
Yeah, so I shared that we're on Spotify and Apple, and I'm gonna launch episode number 6 tomorrow. It's a weekly podcast, so you can expect an episode every week. And the very first episode is more about us, so you can get to know me, Gail, and Woon, and we interview guests from around the world.
I'm just saying.
You have to love sushi, and I know you do.
Well, I can develop a taste for it. So I think you were reading Junit's comments. So
yes.
Which means you have access to the comments as well. I'm relatively new to this, so okay, yes. Perfect. Okay, so I didn't need to read them to you. Awesome.
Okay,
so
it could be good for the host to read the comments and questions out loud. That's good.
That's good. Okay, cool. So we have on board Martin as well, who's watching from UK, and you've already read Junit's comment, and there were my friends who were clarifying that you are live. And we have Rashid, who says 2 important takeaways from this session is surely being happy never goes out of style, and I need to retaste the best sushi in Dubai after lockdown is over. Super, you have inspired someone.
Oh, believe me, one of my trips this year is Dubai. And I was planning to come in March, so last month. But because of all the coronavirus, and I had rescheduled it to June. But right now it's on hold until we see what happens, because right now there's a travel ban, so I can't get anywhere. But Dubai, watch out, I'm coming.
Super. And then we can do it together. Who knows? We can do, and I could taste sushi with you. So Asif asks, do people like videos or only voice podcasts? Would you know about that?
Very good question. Well, podcast is audio. That's the whole nature of a podcast. It is audio. What you do see a lot of people are doing is, because the interviews, mostly there are live podcasts, are recorded. So we record our interviews on Zoom with video on most of the time. Is that a lot of the podcast owners and hosts put up both the video as well as the audio. Okay. Now, we've chosen for the very first episodes to do only audio. Okay. But we've been, even a couple of our guests said, why don't you do both? Because then you've got both the visual thinkers as well as the auditory auditory people in the house. So yes, we're planning to do so, but for now the Entrepreneurs Sushi Club podcast is audio only.
All right. So leave in your comment, and I'm going to put in the comment later on, as in how people can get in touch with you, what the handles are, what the podcast is, and yes. So I'd like to ask, my last question to you is, what are your fleeting thoughts? How would you like to conclude, and what would you like to leave as a comment, as something on your mind, or anything at all, actually?
Well, I think that my most important message is, if you're struggling at this moment, reach out to someone. Reach out to someone and talk about it, because one of the things is, as long as we keep it in our minds, it's always bigger, scarier, more frightening than when we talk about it. It just loses a little bit of their strength. And so reach out if you're feeling in any way, shape, or form struggling or fearful or anxiety. Just reach out to someone and ask and tell them, what I would like you to do is just listen to me. I would like to tell you my story and just listen to you. Or I would like to talk to you because that way I can share this with someone. I think that is the most important thing. A lot of the people that are struggling, by the time they reach out to me, for example, is they've been at it for weeks or months, and I'm like, why didn't you get in touch sooner? Because you wouldn't be having to stay in this state for very long.
True.
And I think that one of the things is really important. No matter how much you're struggling, reach out.
And I think sometimes people hesitate to reach out because they feel they'll be judged. There'd be, people would think of them as she's scared, or oh, he's scared, or whatever. But who knows, by you reaching out, you might be opening the door for someone to be comfortable being scared. Or maybe they're going through the same thing, but they're just too cool to say it. So you being vulnerable might help the other person accept what they're feeling as well.
Most definitely. I also think if Jim Rohn says it best, you're the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. Now, each one of us had different circles of 5 people around us. Make sure that you have at least 1 or 2 people around you that you can call no matter what. No matter that you don't want to be reaching out to someone you're thinking, oh, but they'll judge me. Or they're thinking, oh, you're crazy. It's not that bad. Come on. And they over positivity thinking that you're the biggest, scary, stupid thing. But have 1 or 2 people. I have them in my life. I know exactly who to call, and they will just listen. And if they need to ask a question or just listen. So don't just reach out to anyone. Reach out to someone that you know will do that for you. Because if for 1 minute you think or have the thought, if I reach out, they're going to judge me, you're not going to reach out. That's the reason why people don't reach out.
Exactly. They hold back because they feel that fear of being.
Yeah. So reach out to someone who most definitely will not judge you.
And I think even if they do, or maybe it's just in your head that they would,
It is. You
get over it.
That person, so they don't know if they're going to judge you. It's a mental picture that you're making just before you need to do it, and that's what's keeping us struggling. And also, anxiety. It's a mental picture. We're building in our brain the anxiety picture.
Right. Super. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for making the time. And it was really lovely hearing about happiness, knowing about your journey and your little promise to yourself. So I'm looking forward to comments from people about what keeps them happy, how they add positivity to their day, especially during these transitional times that we are in. And so Asif says, best wishes for your smile strategies. That's for me. Okay. Junit says, best wishes, Loubna, for sharing positivity in your endeavors in helping society. Junit says, it was a good session, the right one at this turbulent season. Thank you, Rux and Loubna, for such a wonderful time given. Looking forward to more sessions. Even though it was a small group, the input was big and quality. 1 off. Thumbs up.
Thank you.
Super. Thank you so much once again, and have a lovely day, and I shall have a good night. And thank you everyone for watching, and those of you watching on replay, please leave in your comments. We will get back to you as and when. And yes, again, leave in your thoughts on happiness and what you are doing to keep yourself happy and in the right state of mind. So until later and next week, bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Have a happy day, everyone.
Yes, bye-bye. Thanks. Okay.